just as bad as the Titanic. Just as bad as the Titanic. Just imagine all of those passengers falling into ice cold water late at night. Was it night tonight? Regardless, it's water. In the wintertime. In Ohio. Horrible. This is just as bad as 9/11. This is just as bad as any historical tragedy or event that took place, such as the Titanic. Or, you know, the collision of helicopters, they say, what, 20 years ago? It happened? It's just as bad as the 2 towers. This is bad. And I can see this being in the book of, you know, in history. Eventually, my son is going to be questioned about this event that occurred in history, given a test that he is going to have to pass. And I am going to be the one to say it because I lived through the day, the moment. You know, I was alive when it happened. He was just a young boy. And I can tell him, and I can help him. It's horrible. No, I actually never just sat there and felt the sadness and grieving of someone. Like, I wanted to cry myself. I never had that feeling until now. You know, I've never had that feeling before. But to just think of the Titanic. The Titanic was my favorite movie. Titanic was my favorite movie. So just thinking about, you know, that the Titanic movie and then comparing it to this situation, it's not, you know, it's similar, you know. That can happen to anybody. It's a collision of 2 vehicles. That's just like the bus having all of these passengers and then a car runs, semi-truck runs into the bus. Boom. You know, it can happen just like that. It just happened in the air. You know? It's sad. It is very sad. The Greyhound. You know, people take the Greyhound. Transportation. Any form of transportation that contains a lot of passengers going a long distance or a long way. It's just the same. Imagine you or your kids or your family on that on that vehicle. And this person or these people, 3 people in a car just runs into you. You know, 3 people. You know, I'm not bashing the people because they were training, they were young. I'm not holding them accountable. It's just that I'm putting it for example. This vehicle and that vehicle, boom. Anything could happen. It could have been a plane's fault. It could have been a helicopter's fault. Never know. Because just as they said, it was like, you know, there's not really no ongoing traffic out here or up here. So, you know, that's what they said in the article. There's no traffic out here, so there's really nothing to look forward to. I mean, look out for. But it just so happened there was another plane in the air. Or a helicopter in the air. But yeah, I wanted to cry. I never felt like that before. I never felt like I wanted to cry for anybody, honestly, but my loved ones. So this is the first time I'm actually experiencing, you know, what it could be like. So like I said, just because I have that, you know, I have a heart for that Titanic movie. So anything that's kind of similar, I'm just thinking like, you know, just imagine the Titanic all over again right now. Just think of all of those people that's in that water, cold, freezing, you know, freezing to death. I'm not surprised that there were no survivors at a time like this. Just imagine. That's awful, you know? Think about it that way. You being out there, you know, or you just seeing somebody out there struggling for their life in cold water, shivering. That is sad. It's very sad. It's very sad when you think about it like that. So yeah, anybody, you know, anybody that looks like they need help or they're in a position where, you know, no help is around, you're going to go in and save those people. You're going to go in and save that person. You're going to try, because there's something inside of you, some type of feeling inside of you that's going to make you feel a certain way to see that person pass away or struggle, even just struggle for their life in your presence. There's some type of feeling inside that awakens for you to go in and save that person's life. So just imagining the struggle of so many people all at once. It's like watching Titanic all over again. It's sad, you know. So yeah, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and get my day ready. And yeah, y'all have a good day. Or try to have a good day. Yeah. Okay.
Crash in the U.S. in at least 15 years, happening over the nation's capital. Just after 8:45 Wednesday evening, an explosion lighting up the night sky in Washington as a passenger jet and military helicopter collided in midair.
The water that we're operating in is about 8 feet deep. There is wind, there is pieces of ice out there, so it's just dangerous and hard to work in.
The moment of the crash captured on an EarthCam live stream at the Kennedy Center. American Airlines Flight 5342 from Wichita, Kansas, with 60 passengers and 4 crew members on board, was preparing to land at Reagan National Airport. While approaching the runway, Metropolitan Police receiving multiple calls of the aircraft crashing into an Army Black Hawk helicopter. Officials say there were 3 Army soldiers on board, but no senior officials. The explosion sending what was left of both aircraft plunging into the Potomac River. About 300 first responders racing to the scene, divers desperately searching for any survivors. The water temperature barely above freezing, a life-threatening 36 degrees, with the river only just starting to thaw after being frozen over for weeks.
The conditions out there are extremely rough for the responders. It's cold and it's hard out on the river, so they're out there working.
Air traffic control shutting down operations until at least Thursday morning.
Building 52, sorry. I don't know if you covered earlier what happened, but there was a collision on the Bridge 3. We're going to be shutting down operations for the indefinite future.
Nearby residents witnessing the horror.
When we went to the roof, it was insanity. Police trucks, ambulances, command vehicles. This was something like I've never seen.
Family and friends gathering at the airport overnight, waiting for news.
We're going to know people who are on this flight, know their family members, know somebody. So this is a very personal circumstance as well as an official response.
Officials in Kansas say they believe family members of victims were also arriving at the airport in Wichita.
We also encourage them to stay home and stay in contact with the airline, and they'll be getting official word directly as well.
And U.S. figure skating confirming several athletes, coaches, and family members were on the plane.